So welcome everybody to another session of how to cut through the overwhelm of business startup. Today we're talking about mastering your money, and we have the lovely Laura Elkaslassy. I got that right, didn't I? Elkaslassy here from Adroit Business Solutions. So welcome, Laura.
Thanks for having me.
And I'll just tell you a little bit about Laura first of all. So Laura is the owner and founder of Adroit Business Solutions, as well as a profit pioneer and money mentor. Laura loves to empower business owners to understand and own their finances. She helps business owners to grow their business, get paid, and do more of what they really enjoy every day. Laura's mission and passion is to ensure solo and small business owners not only understand what is happening in their business, but also that they can pay themselves and make a profit. As a profit pioneer, Laura thrives on guiding and teaching business owners to implement innovative, practical, and outcome-driven strategies and solutions that are often at the forefront of money management and growth initiatives for small business. So that's fantastic. So I've been having a really good look around all your website and educating myself, and I know that there's a whole system that you've actually been trained in. That's correct, isn't it? That's what being a profit pioneer is all about, trained in the profit first method. Yeah. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that, Laura?
Yeah, sure. So I'll first explain what a profit first professional is so that people can know the difference between someone that has read the book and is teaching it to people compared to an actual certified profit first professional. So we've actually been trained by Mike Michalowicz, who's had the book Profit First. He wrote that, and they've got a team of people in the US, so it originates from the US. And you become a member, you have to study it, you have to implement it in your own business first and prove to them that you're actually doing it, and then sit an exam and keep up with, professional development around that system. So it's quite an in-depth commitment. So there's probably about 15 of us in Australia. So there's not a lot in Australia, but we're growing sort of by the month.
Yeah.
And so Profit First itself is a cash management system. And what I mean by system is it's not like another software that you need to buy, like an online calendar or anything like that. It's a way of actually managing your money through various bank accounts and dealing with it that way. So it's not another gadget that you need to buy and it's not an accounting system either, but it is a way to ensure that you get paid, that your expenses are covered, that, if you have tax or GST to pay, you've got that covered as well as having cash profit, which most businesses don't have.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what does that actually look like then for someone in business? So you talk about having all the different, so is it actually physically having 5 or 6 different accounts for different things that you?
Absolutely.
So you physically have those at your bank, do you? Different bank accounts?
That's right. So what you do is you go to your bank, and I recommend banking with a bank that does not charge you fees. A lot of banks charge a minimum of $5 a month per bank account. So you're spending hundreds of dollars each year just to have a number of bank accounts open. Now, the first thing that people say to me when I say you need to open 5 bank accounts is, oh my goodness, why do I need so many accounts? This is really overwhelming. The first thing is you don't have to do it all at once. You can start with, 1 or 2 accounts to get a feel for how it works. But if you're like me and want to go and do something, wholeheartedly, then you can definitely open up a number of different accounts. And I'll just go through what they are quickly.
Yeah, please do.
You have your income account, so that's where all of your money for your business comes into. You have your expenses account, so literally anything that you're paying out comes out of one account only, which is very different to how we're normally, spending our money. It's either through our PayPal account that we've got, or maybe from some personal money, to cover things, especially at startup, or, from the same income account. So you never really know what's yours left over because you're spending and money's coming in and it's a bit messy. So that separates that. You also have a tax or GST account, and you can combine those because not everyone, especially at startup, is earning, the $75,000 or more per year to be registered for GST. Your profit account, and then your own personal account. So I generally say not to open up another personal account, just use your existing personal account, but you need these 5 bank accounts in order to be able to sort of split the money that comes in.
So what it sounds like then is, so all the money comes into your income account, and then you have to have these allocations that go out to the different accounts to cover the different bits and pieces. So you really then need to be on top of what your expenses are, don't you, sort of month to month, which makes you start to become very accountable and think, where am I actually spending that money?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also, you can look at your expenses account and go, can I justify spending that money on this right now? It stops you from that, immediate, satisfaction that we all always searching for. It's like, I've got money, sure. Really, when you know, well, when's the next amount of money coming in to be distributed into this account?
Yeah.
So it makes you actually buy things that you need rather than just want. Because how many times, I know when I started up, I was constantly going, oh yeah, I need this course, or I need that, and really didn't do any of them properly and spent a lot of money that was unnecessary. So having that in place really helps with that.
Yeah, okay. And so also with the GST and the tax one, I imagine people, especially in startup, don't think about putting those things aside. And so you get to the end of the the end of the financial year, and it's like, oh my goodness, I've got to actually find this money now that I've got to pay. That's assuming, of course, you've made some money throughout the year, but
exactly. And even if you don't have to pay tax, it's like an immediate savings thing for you. You can either reinvest it into your business or take it for yourself, because that's the other thing. As startup business owners, we tend to think, oh, well, we can't take money yet. I shouldn't be paid a wage. I don't earn enough money to do that, when in actual fact, profit first pays from the very beginning.
Yeah, because that's the whole reason we're doing this, is actually to give ourselves some money to do the things we need to do with. We don't just want to buy ourselves a job at the end of the day. We actually want to have some profit in there to either reinvest back into the business or take ourselves on a holiday. But we also, yeah, you're right, need to pay ourselves. So with the profit, this is the one that I have trouble getting my head around. So profit to me has always been income, take away all your expenses and your tax, and that's what your profit is. But by putting aside a certain amount, you're telling yourself, right, this is the amount of profit I'm going to make this year. So, how does that work? Because that's sort of, to me, putting the cart before the horse, but I'm sure there's a great explanation.
There is, and like, as someone who has like an accounting background and bookkeeper as well, I kind of go, well, the normal, as you said, I guess structure is income minus expenses equals profit. When in actual fact, in this, with profit first, we are saying income minus profit leaves you with your expenses. So another way that you control how much you're actually spending in your business, that you are not just left with like I guess in your reports that you have profit, yet you can't find profit anywhere in your accounts.
Yes.
And it starts as small as, and I'll go into the percentages quickly in a minute. Yep. It can start as small as 1% out of everything that you earn. So that it's not as if you're saying, I'm going to take, 80% profit out of, my business, and then I'm not going to be able to pay my bills. That's not the case at all. It can completely be, that 1% because you're not making a lot of money. And I guess the breakdown is you've got all of your income coming in, 50% of that goes to you as your pay.
Wow.
50%.
Wow.
Even if $100 comes in, $50 of that is yours.
Right.
Non-negotiable. And the reason being is that you are working those long hours often. You need to, and this is, I guess, another thing that I see when working with a number of people, is that we try to put business in a pigeonhole and personal in a pigeonhole, and they're not allowed to connect, when in actual fact, one of the main reasons we're going into business is to provide for ourselves personally and for our family and for whatever it is. So if you're not paying yourself from the beginning, it will get to the point where your personal finances will struggle too. And yes, you may have, a partner that is looking after your costs at home, but don't we all want to be able to contribute, or even if that's dealt with, have savings in our personal lives? So yeah, 50%, it makes people very uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can imagine. So tell me then, if you're in startup and you're really not earning much income at all or not earning any income, should you still be putting these sorts of things in place?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So the reason being, even if you get even sporadic income, you're creating a habit.
Yes.
And you're basically, and it's also a mindset. And I guess, money mindset is a really important thing, to have a good money mindset rather than a scarcity mindset or being scared or uncomfortable of money in our accounts, which, when you are used to spending money on expenses but not having regular income come in, can really put you in that kind of mode. So if you're using Profit First, and there's other mindset tools that you should, could be using as well to help you with this, you're basically saying to yourself and to your business, this is how I am going to deal with my money. My money has a purpose. It goes to me. It goes to my expenses. It goes to my profit. So even if you get $100 every couple of months, you have a system in place, so that then when that money increases or it becomes consistent, it's not like, oh no, what do? I have to get all the things in place, and this is too much money, or I need to get rid of that money. Because often, when we start earning some money, people go, oh, this feels uncomfortable in my account, so let me spend it. Whereas if it's got a purpose and it's got a separate account, then it really helps with that flow of money.
I really that all makes perfect sense, and I really like the idea of specifying how much your expenses are going to be, because we all know, we live to our means. So you get a pay rise, you think, great, fantastic, another $100 a week, but that just goes somewhere because we just tend to spend it. So by actually saying, right, this is the amount that I can spend on expenses, and that's all you allow yourself, and then that other bit is for you, that's fantastic. And so talking about money mindset, because I think this is a big part of it as well. So we quite often have grown up with our parents' generation was, our money doesn't grow on trees, and, you've got to watch your pennies and all that sort of scarcity mindset around money. And so people grow up with this idea that, well, I'm only entitled to earn this much or have this much amount of net worth. How do we break through those ceilings and actually go, no, I can earn as much as I want to earn, or I can have as much net worth as I want? How do we actually, how do you break through those sorts of things? Do you have any tips or?
Sure. There's a number of different ways that we can, I guess, look at that and different mindset things. I guess the first one is reverse engineer what it is that you actually need first. Because I guess one of the big things, especially in the online world, that I see is that people are striving for that $100,000 or more. But what if you don't need that much money initially? What if in your first year the 30,000 mark is more than enough? Most people don't know what their break-even number is or what it is that they need personally to be able to cover their expenses there. So from a really practical level, that is probably a really good place to start, to work that out first, so that when it comes to earning the money, you know what it's for. It's not just this money that's going to come in and sit there or disappear or anything like that. And it also makes it easier to say no to people that don't value what you're doing, or to price appropriately as well, because if you don't do those things, then you won't hit that target. And that means that, all of those things that you've worked out that you need won't be met, which leaves it from a really kind of an empowering point of view of saying, actually, no, this is what I need in my business, and this is how it's going to be done. And it's also a way to educate your, prospects and that sort of thing as to how your business is run and what the pricing is, so that we don't have to start from that ridiculous, small amount of money that you do because you think that people will say no otherwise, or you feel like, oh, but I need to get myself out there. There's definitely a place for starting at a lower price point, but I think as women especially, we tend to completely undervalue that. And so that's one way. The other thing is to get really clear about what you want and what you don't want in your business. So, that can be either creating a list, or it can be a creative thing where, you have a circle or a square or something, and inside the square is everything that you want, and be really specific. So if you put freedom, what does freedom mean to you? Because what freedom means to you is very different to what freedom means to me. So rather than just using one words or vague sort of ideas, make it really clear to yourself, but also be very clear about what you don't want. So that way, when you're dealing with your money, you know what's acceptable for you and what isn't, and you're also really clear about where your mindset's already at when it comes to your business. So there are a couple of things.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And I guess the other thing to remember as well is that money is everything, you know, energy, and money is really just an exchange of energy. So when we're doing something for somebody and adding value to them, to their life, then that's the exchange of energy that comes back. And money itself doesn't actually have an emotion attached to it. It's the emotion that we attach to it. That's so right. Getting it clear and realising that it's just, you know, it's just a bit of paper there. It's actually only what we attach to it that makes it so powerful. And the other thing that you hit on, which I think is a really good point to make, is some of my clients have said to me, and it took me a little while to understand what they meant, but they said one of their biggest fears was being afraid of success. And I sort of said, what do you mean afraid of success? And then when I've sort of gone through quite a bit of my own personal development stuff, because business is very much personal development, you know, I realised that you have these people saying to you, oh, you've got to make 6 figures and you've got to do this and you've got to work till... In actual fact, no, you don't. You can actually write your own rules. You can, you know, design the business that you want. If $30,000 a year turnover is fine for you to have the lifestyle and to sustain you, then that's fantastic.
Absolutely.
But having that system in place where you have your expenses, you know what you've got to spend, you've got, so it's basically getting in control of everything, isn't it? And starting right from the, you know, the heart of what the business is all sort of, well, not the heart, but the, you know, the crux of it. And then, yeah, making it aligned with what you're all about at the end of the day.
Absolutely. And really, like, if you don't have money coming in, you won't be able to serve people.
No, that's exactly right.
Yeah. And I guess the other thing to really be mindful of is, what are those stories that you're attaching to the idea of money? You know, we get so caught up in this story that's been created, and as you said previously, you know, from parents and that sort of thing, you know, that's happening. But, you know, once you're aware of what it is, and one of mine was, it has to be hard work. Yeah. Well, it didn't. And so once I realized that, I looked at what I was doing to create, you know, or make things harder for myself. Really, I could make it easier. So it's such a connected thing. It's not just about money. No, exactly. Fantastic. All right. Well, I think that's probably about it. Apart from, if you could give your audience one sort of takeaway from, you know, the things we've talked about today. Actually, no, I'm sorry, I did have another question. I wanted to ask you, so with the Profit Pioneer, the certification, so how long does that sort of thing take as well? So people can go and read the book, can't they? Yeah. And that will give them a really, really great start, and they can come to someone like you then to walk them through the process and actually get an outcome, because it's different reading the book to actually, But if they did want to do something like that, how long does that sort of thing take? It normally takes about a minimum of 6 months if you've already implemented it in your business and you've been utilising it that way. But generally speaking, and especially now they've changed the rules where you have to become certified, it takes about 12 months now. Yes. So that, you know, because things evolve, and you know, you have to not only understand it for yourself, but to be able to apply it to a number of different industries. You know, your tax needs could be different from mine, and GST and that sort of thing. So it's not a one fit sort of system, and you do have to tweak percentages and that sort of thing. So it does take 6 to 12 months to become a certified first professional. Yeah, and then lots of, as you say, application in different industries, different businesses. So oh, fantastic. So so getting back to your one takeaway from today, or 2 or 3, or however many you feel compelled to, what would you say? Well, I guess the biggest thing for me that I say to so many people, especially to cut the overwhelm, is to ask questions. We are so stuck in our way of thinking that we need to know everything. We don't. There's such a great network out there. And I'm not saying you have to go and pay someone to work with them one-on-one, because, you know, there's definitely a time for that. But there's also, you know, you need to be comfortable to be able to say, I don't understand this, or how can I make this easier for myself, or how do I implement this in my business, or whatever it is. And I guess don't hide from your figures. Even if you don't understand reports, or you don't want to be dealing with reports, that's fine. You can get a statement and you can highlight in a number of different colours, you know, your expenses that are absolutely necessary, other expenses where they're great to have, but, you know, then your business isn't going to fall apart without them, and those, I guess, shiny objects that you buy. And so that in itself, without even looking at numbers, you know how you're spending your money. So, yeah, a couple of things.
Yeah. And I think numbers tend to scare a lot of people, and then you get scared with dealing with money as well, and you have to turn it around and realise that money does enable you to do bigger and better things, help more people. So it's like that, you know, you go to pay your electricity bill, it's like, oh, I've got to pay my electricity bill. But if you actually go, wonderful, that's giving me electricity, I can have a warm shower, I can have a, you know, nice meal at night time, I can have heating. So it depends on how you
frame that.
All getting back to that mindset around the money again. Yeah. All right. Well, Laura, thank you so much. It's been absolutely delightful. So now, if people would like to get in touch with you, where can they go to find you?
Well, I've got a Facebook page, so it's Laura Elkaslassy, Profit Pioneer, and I'm there a lot and I have different, you know, tips that come up, and also anytime that people have questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I've also got a number of other ways that you can get in contact with me. So I have 2 different websites. One is the Adroit Business Solutions, which is more the bookkeeping and compliance side.
Yep.
And then there's lauraelkaslassy.com, which is more the money mentor and profit first.
Yep.
And I'm also on LinkedIn, and I share a lot of blogs and articles about different topics around money. So I'd absolutely love to answer questions and be in contact with everyone.
And so that Facebook, is that your business page, or is it a private group? Do people need to ask to be invited in, or?
It's a business page. I don't have a group, but I definitely am very active on my page. Yep,
beautiful. Okay. And also you've put together a bit of an offer for people too, if they'd like to get a couple of, is it the first 2 chapters of the Profit First book, if they'd like to click. So we'll put those links and everything in at the bottom of the email that delivers this recording to everybody in their inbox. But so thank you very much, Laura. It's been wonderful talking to you. I've learned lots and lots, and I have to go and implement and actually get an expenses account, because I haven't really done that yet. I am doing the whole just spending wherever I think at the moment. So yes.
You'll feel so much better once you do.
I will. All right, everybody, that's it from Laura and I today. Thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, be compassionately courageous every day. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.